We'll now take you to South Africa, where defense lawyers in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial have accused an eyewitness to the murder, Mthokozisi Thwala, of tailoring his evidence to suit a particular narrative of the circumstances in which Meyiwa was shot. Thwala, a close friend of slain Bafana Bafana captain and Orlando Pirates goalkeeper, was on the witness stand this week and he told the court about the events which unfolded when his friend was gunned down by alleged intruders. He started giving his evidence in the North Gauteng High Court in Pretoria on Wednesday in a grueling cross-examination until Friday. He testified about circumstances linked to Meyiwa's fatal shooting at his singer girlfriend Kelly Khumalo's home in Vosloorus. Hart Elton is an attorney. He's joining me from Hart in South Africa to unpack this latest development. Hart, thank you so much for your time here on the news. Let's start by the legal highlights of this week, where we saw Senzo's childhood friend, Mthokozisi, being grilled, and also defense accusing him of tailoring his evidence to suit the narrative. What do you think about that? Take us through this.
Now, good evening and good evening to your viewers. Looking at the testimony, and the good part about it is that on our previous trial that we ran before Judge Maumela, Mthokozisi Thwala tendered evidence. And in this instance, you can see that he is sort of half adapting his evidence to fall in with what Zandile Khumalo, but in certain aspects, they're also contradicting each other, and that can create a lot of problems for the state to actually secure a successful prosecution of these 5 accused that's currently before court. So the witnesses are slowly but surely giving evidence that sort of creates that doubt to say that, is this really the right people that has committed the crime? Is the state really on the right trajectory to prove the people that's currently before court has committed the crime? Yes, the video analysts and the people that was doing the data analyst on the cellular devices showed that these people communicated with the other, but that's not enough. That's just circumstantial evidence. They still need to do a lot more to prove that there was like a crime committed by these people.
Indeed, we'll see how that pans out in what appears to be a long haul in court. But we've also seen advocates in Mshololo asking witnesses their level of education. My question to you is, how relevant is that to this murder trial? How will it assist the case of the defense?
It depends on, if you are talking to an expert witness, you need to know what is the level of expertise so that you can say that they had the capabilities of performing certain duties of when you're dealing with evidence of a technical nature. The normal layman on the street is to saying what that was just maybe to get under the skin of the witness, to say that you don't understand English and that's why I want to check your level of comprehension. It's just to sort of half unsettle the witnesses, and that's part of cross-examination techniques, that you need to unsettle the witnesses so that they're not comfortable, and maybe they might like drop something that they were not supposed to drop that can actually lead the court in the right direction. But when you deal with technical evidence, the expert witnesses that testify, you need to establish what is their qualification so that you can say you can actually analyze cell phone data because you have the relevant training, so that you don't tamper with the evidence and it don't get changed while you are busy processing it.
I see. Now, earlier this week, we had shocking evidence from Colonel Stein detailing cell phone evidence incriminating accused numbers 3 and 5, but also specifically Senzo Meyiwa's then girlfriend, Kelly Khumalo, the singer. How does this change the case, if at all, for Kelly especially?
No, indeed. What Colonel Stein has brought to the table is that he showed that there was some sort of communication or links between accused number 5, Kelly Khumalo, and accused number 1 and accused number 5. But for me, that is not good enough to secure a conviction. Yes, it shows that these people knew each other prior to the killing of Senzo Meyiwa, but it does not prove what was the communication between the parties. So if the state cannot come and bring and put relevance and link and tie the talking to and the connection between the parties to actual showing that there was a collusion to actually commit a crime that led to the death of Senzo Meyiwa, then that linking is just a linking, because it's not a crime to have communications in South Africa with one another, irrespective of your stance and status in the country.
I see. Well, again, we'll see how that plays. But let's talk about docket 375, shall we? When is the right time to bring it within this trial?
Now, obviously, the docket 375, the information is already available to the defense counsel, so they can tap into that docket to cross-examine witnesses already with information sitting in docket 375. The only thing is that the National Director of Public Prosecutions in South Africa can decide, okay, the people that is people of interest in docket 375, they can be charged at the conclusion of this trial, or they can be charged at any given stage. But I think they first want to deal with this docket to see who can be acquitted, who will be found guilty on this docket, and maybe they can then utilize and use the people in this docket, be it that they are acquitted or found guilty, to now prosecute the people of interest that is mentioned in docket 375. So it's just about a strategy, and it might backfire on the state, because if this 5 is acquitted, and let's assume they get acquitted, they will not come and testify in favor of the state to say, listen, yeah, these are the people, because they will say, we cannot testify because we don't know what happened in that house. So it's a risky business of when they bring it in, but they can decide, because they're what they call dominus litis, and they can decide, do they bring it in, do they charge them now or after the conclusion of this trial?
Hart, I do want to ask you, from all that we've seen since the trial began, do you get the impression that we are inching any closer to unraveling those behind the murder of Senzo Meyiwa?
What currently is transpiring in court, one day you think, okay, the state is on a good wicket, they are closer to unraveling what really happened, and then the next day you just see some twists come in. So it's like up and down. It's like we are on a seesaw most of the time, trying to actually place together. And obviously, we won't know what the state prosecutor's strategy is, because we don't discuss it with him. But it's always like, then one day you think, okay, the defense is now sort of half unsettled the state's case, and tomorrow the state comes in with some additional evidence, and then it sort of half swings the pendulum again in the state's case. But as it stands now, with a lot of these discrepancies that I'm currently picking up, I think the state is starting to find it more and more difficult to actually now prove that these guys are actually the ones that actually killed the slain Bafana Bafana captain.
I see what you mean, and we'll keep fingers crossed and see how things pan out in court in the coming weeks, or however long this trial takes. Hopefully justice is served, and served real soon. Thank you so much, Hart, for your time here on the news. Hart Elton is an attorney. We've been discussing South Africa's high-profile murder trial in Hart.